What is up, YouTube? It is now 2026. To all the people that started on the 1st, congratulations. If you didn't start on the 1st, it's not too late. Honestly, I did a lot of personal training and selling personal training for different gyms throughout the last couple of years. And, you know, there's a statistic that 80% of people that start on the 1st will quit by the end of the year. So don't feel bad that you didn't start on the 1st. The most important thing is that you start at some point and that you stick with it. Okay. So with that out of the way, for today's video, I kind of want to talk about how and why you start. So the first video was about starting over. This is how. Why do you do it? And there's a couple things I want to talk about. And first, we'll start with the why. The why could be a lot of things, you know. When I was younger people, and you'll hear me say something about younger people a lot. It's not that I'm hating on younger people, okay? I've looked back on when I was younger and my experiences and what I was able to do compared to now, and they're different, you know. My whys are different. The amount of time I have is different. The responsibilities I have are different. And just because maybe you don't have a family and you are 30 years old, you might still have more responsibilities when you were 22, right? So we'll start with the why. Like I said, why could be different for everyone. And I'll tell you what the why is for me. And obviously there is this sense of, man, I used to do this. I used to be like this, and I would like to get back to that. That's a why. But a deeper why would be, you know, now that I do have a family, and I feel like this should be a why for a lot of people that have family, especially men. You know, women, you can have this same why, but especially men. One is I watched a video the other day, and it was of a guy that used to kidnap children, right? And they interviewed him, and they were trying to figure out why he did what he did. And they essentially asked him, like, hey, what kind of told you who was a target and who wasn't? And he said, the father. He said, if the father was a threat, that child was a no-go. If I felt the father was not a threat, that child was on the table, right? So for me, I want to be a threat. You know, I have a daughter. She's going to be 2 here in 6 days, which is exciting. But I want to be that threat, you know. I don't want, you know, heaven forbid something like that happened, but I want to be the threat. I want other people to realize, hey, this is my family, and if you decide that you want to try to do something, I am a threat to you, you know? So that's one why. Second reason, you know, when I was growing up, and this is nothing against my family or anything, but, you know, like my parents, they didn't necessarily know or care about health and fitness, you know, like at all. And so I played sports, I played football, I played a little bit in college. And I always asked myself, and I always would say this, man, how much closer to my potential could I have gotten had I known what I know now when I was in high school, when I was younger, and how hard it was for me to start developing healthier habits and how to train properly and just all these things. And so now that I have a child, I want to take what I know now and instill that into my child, or multiple children if I have more, or just my family in general. And so, you know, when my daughter grows up and she wants to play sports, hey, here's how you train properly. Here's how you can avoid these injuries. Here's how you can, you know, push yourself to the limits to be the best you want to be in anything that you do. And even if she doesn't want to play sports, right, it can still be, it could still be put toward just life in general. Like, hey, make healthy decisions. Hey, if you make these healthy decisions now and you make it a habit now, when you get older, it's going to pay off. You know, if you take care of yourself now when you're 30, it's going to pay off. And I want them to know these things. And what better way to teach your children than through doing it yourself? You know, if my daughter sees me and Kayla eating healthy, she sees us working out, she sees us prioritizing these things, she's going to understand that those things are important, and she's going to want to prioritize them herself, right? So that's kind of like a why for me. The why could be anything, you know. You want to find some women, That could be a why. Now, that probably won't last forever, but if it gets you into the gym, it gets you into the gym. You know, you have heartbreak. Hey, that could be a why. That's why you go to the gym. There's all kinds of different reasons why. Just it's important to find a good, important reason to you as to why you want to start. Because on those days you feel like you don't want to go, on those days you feel like you don't have the time, you have to kind of come back to those whys and say, you know what? This is my reason. This is why it's important to me. This is why I have to do it, you know? But we kind of got past the whys. Now we talk about how. How do you start? And in my mind, and from my experience, there's really two ways that you start. And it all depends on the type of person you are, really. There's the first way is you kind of go all in. Now, I don't normally recommend this to everyone because a lot of people, when that first rolls around, they go all in. They start going to the gym 4 or 5 days a week. You know, they change up all their meals. They start doing cardio, and it lasts for about a month. They burn out. They go back to what they were doing, and they give up, right? Some people, they take that and they run with it, which is awesome. But not everybody is that type of person, right? So the second way, which is the one I recommend to most people, is slow and steady. You know, what is so great if you can say, oh, well, for the first 2 months of the year, I was going to the gym, I was doing my cardio, I was replacing all my meals, I was doing so great, and then I gave up, right? It's kind of like the tortoise and the hare. Whereas if you slowly work your way into it, you start to develop habits, you start to develop like a lifestyle that sticks with you forever. Which one is more beneficial? Would you rather go really hard for 3 months and then quit? Or would you rather take your time and then you continue to do this for months and months and months, or years and years and years, right? So what I would say is start with things that you know you can do, right? So if you say, hey, realistically right now, I can guarantee I can go to the gym 3 days a week. No questions asked, go 3 days a week. When it comes to meals, you know, hey, I make breakfast every morning already. Change your breakfast. Write yourself a breakfast. You know, there's all kinds of videos on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook of people making healthy recipes, right? Take some of those. You know, find you a coach, find you a trainer. You know, hey, you know, I do some online coaching. Hit me up if you want it. But find you a trainer or someone that already goes to the gym, that's a friend or a family member. I don't care if you got to beg them, be like, please just let me go to the gym with you, right? Because it's always easier when you have someone else because there's a little bit of that accountability in there, right? But also they might be able to help you out with some stuff. Plus, I got some older videos. The knowledge on those still hold true to today, okay? So you can always watch some of those older videos. I'll be posting more videos too for like the gym stuff as far as like exercises, stuff like that. But anyway, I'm getting off track. So do that. Take you a meal, drive it home. You want to get to a point where those 3 days at the gym is a non-negotiable. You don't even think about it. You wake up in the morning, it's Monday, you know you're going to the gym. No questions asked. You know, every day you wake up in the morning, there is no, oh, what am I going to eat for breakfast? You know you're eating that exact meal, or you're eating meals that you have planned every time for breakfast, right? Now we talk about cardio. Okay, you go to the gym 3 days a week. Find time to do some cardio on the days you're not going to the gym, right? Whether that's walking around your house, like your neighborhood, whether that's going on a walk somewhere, whether that's going to the gym and doing 20 minutes cardio, whatever. And you make those things until they're non-negotiables. You don't even think about it. You just get up, you go. You don't think about it. Now you have that as a base. Okay, now what do? You feel like, you know what? Maybe I could make time to go another day of the week. Now you go 4 days a week. And then you go, you know what? I take my lunch. I'm used to going to work and just buying lunch, right? Now I'm going to start the night before making something to take with me to lunch. Boom, now you've got 2 meals, okay? And you just slowly continue to add that in until all of a sudden you're like, man, I have all my meals I eat every day. I'm going to the gym 4 to 5 times a week. And it's non-negotiable. You don't have to think about it. You just slowly built up habits over time, to where now you don't even have to think about it. You just go. And it becomes a lifestyle at that point. And that's one way to stay consistent, because you didn't just go all in and then burn out and fail. You know, you took your time. You really dedicated time to consistency. Another thing I'll tell you too Sorry, I gotta drink this pre-workout. I'm about to work out with somebody. But I know a lot of people will say, like, you know, they have a family. And it's like, how do I get these meals in? How do I eat healthy when my family doesn't do that? You can do two things. A, kind of like what we talked about earlier, there are tons and tons and tons of healthy meals out there that are really good. Like, Kayla and I made some for a while. One we made, it was like honey sriracha chicken mac and cheese, and it was like the cheese for the mac and cheese was like cottage cheese and Greek yogurt and like low fat cheese, and so it was a lot of protein, right? It wasn't like Kraft or Velveeta or anything like that. You have to make it yourself, but hey, it was super good. It was like protein pasta and then chicken, obviously. Super healthy meal, you know, but still tastes good. You could give it to your family, and I guarantee you they would enjoy it. So implementing your family into it, not only does it, hey, you can go and sit down and eat a meal with your family and you know you're eating something healthy, but also it gets your family involved in it too. And what better than to have your family involved in something that you really want to do? Or two, you make your meals, your family eats theirs, you eat yours, you know? That's the two ways to do it. I would rather do the first one, but sometimes, you know, you got to have options. Not everybody's the same. Another thing I would say when you start, find people on the internet that you vibe with their content. There are so many people that make fitness content on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, right? Now, there's two sides to that. You don't want to get caught up in like what necessarily everyone is doing, because a lot of people that make fitness content, you know, that could be their full-time job. They have different goals. They want to be bodybuilders. They want to be powerlifters. They want to be, you know, they want to make it a profession. Not everyone's going to be able to make it a profession, right? So your approach to it is not the same. If you are just wanting to be healthier, wanting to look a little better, you know, longevity, you just enjoy going to the gym, you do not have to do the same things that these people are doing that are trying to be bodybuilders. That's their profession. They've got to go to the gym 6 days a week. They have got to, you know, push it to the absolute limits. They have the time to recover. They take the supplements. They do all the things, right? And at the end of the day, tomorrow, they're just going to go work out and film videos, right? Whereas we have jobs. Let's say you work construction. Let's say you work a labor job. You have to be mindful of your workouts, because you can't just go murder your legs to where you can barely walk, and then tomorrow you have to climb up ladders, right? So you have to be mindful of like, hey, a lot of these people that I'm watching, that's all that they do. I have to take a step back and be like, can I do these things and train this hard and optimally recover for my job tomorrow? Okay, so don't get lost in the, oh, well, this guy on YouTube's doing this and this guy on YouTube's doing this. Just find someone that you enjoy their content. Use it as like knowledge, right? Hey, he did this exercise, I'll try this exercise. You know, he did this workout, I'll try this workout. But just don't get lost in the sauce of the internet, okay? And last but not least, I would just say, you know, have fun with it. It's not your job. It's not how you make your money. And if it is, you know, still try to have fun with it, but just have fun with it. Enjoy the process. Like, go into the gym, bust your ass, have good workouts, and just enjoy it. It's meant to be fun, right? You're meant to enjoy the process. Hey, I lost a pound. Be happy about the W. Hey, I went and hit a PR. Cool. I went to the gym today. I didn't hit a PR. It's not the end of the world, right? Enjoy the process. Slowly but surely be consistent until it becomes like, you know. Oh, man. Well, my phone fell. So I guess that's a good time to just go ahead and say, take this video, think about some of the things I said, and maybe in the next video I'll do a workout or something. It's just been really easy to make these videos because I can just sit in my car right before I go in the gym and just talk. And, you know, I always got a lot to say. I don't cut these videos. I don't write a script. I'm not reading off of anything. This is all just off the dome. So whenever I feel like, hey, there's something that I want to talk about, or there's something I feel like somebody else could benefit from, I'm just going to sit here and record it. So other than that, if you've made it to the end of the video, go ahead and like and subscribe. That'd be dope. And lastly, let me know down in the comments if you have any tips for anyone else, or if you feel like I missed something. But other than that, guys, have a good rest of your week, and I will catch you guys next time.